On Monday, March 6th, civil liberties advocates vowed to challenge President Donald Trump's revised executive order that bans citizens from 6 Muslim-majority nations from traveling to the United States. It removes Iraq from the list after his controversial first attempt was blocked in the courts. The new order, which the White House said Trump has signed, keeps a 90-day ban on travel to the United States by citizens of Iran, Libya, Syria, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen, all countries that have been previously or currently are subjected to U.S. military or political intervention. Lee Gelernt, the Immigrant Rights Project Director at the ACLU, said the new executive order is not good enough.
The new executive order eliminates certain individuals, lawful permanent residents, Iraqis who were part of the first order, but it does not eliminate the central constitutional problem. In our view, the first order was based on religious discrimination, and this order is as well, so we will continue to challenge it.
Secretary of State Rex Tillerson said the move is necessary to keep America safe.
The executive order signed by the President earlier today, protecting the nation from foreign terrorist entry into the United States, is a vital measure for strengthening our national security. It is the President's solemn duty to protect the American people. And with this order, President Trump is exercising his rightful authority to keep our people safe. As threats to our security continue to evolve and change, common sense dictates that we continually reevaluate and reassess the systems we rely upon to protect our country.
Trump's original travel ban had resulted in massive demonstrations, including at airports around the country, and more than 24 lawsuits in U.S. courts. The state of Washington succeeded in having it suspended by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals by arguing that it violated constitutional protections against religious discrimination. Gelernt said the new order also relies on religious discrimination and therefore remains unconstitutional.
The main problem we have with the second executive order is we believe it's based on religious discrimination. The President's statements leading up to the first executive order, his statements afterward, and the language of the first executive order all reveal that what is essentially going on is a ban against Muslims. The fact that they've tweaked the order does not eliminate that taint. We will continue with our lawsuits. We don't believe we need to file new lawsuits. We will just amend our existing lawsuits. And we have, roughly 12 lawsuits around the country. Some are further along than others. We will just simply amend those lawsuits to challenge this new executive order.
Embattled U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions claims domestic terror attacks are linked to immigrants and refugees.
As President Trump noted in his address to Congress, the majority of people convicted in our courts for terrorism-related offenses since 9/11 came here from abroad. We also know that many people seeking to support or commit terrorist acts will try to enter through our refugee program. In fact, today more than 300 people, according to the FBI, who came here as refugees are under an FBI investigation today for potential terrorism-related activities.
But Noor Mir, an organizer with the D.C. Justice for Muslim Coalition, says the narrative is false.
Sure. So thanks for bringing up what Jeff Sessions said, and I think it actually highlights the problem with the good Muslim, bad Muslim binary that so many Muslim advocates, organizers, citizens, non-citizens of this country are used to responding to, is that this ban is something that's here to make the U.S. safer. And even though the FBI did say that there are over 300, people that are classified as refugees, I do wonder, how many of those have actually committed what they call acts of terrorism post 9/11. I think that while we definitely have had, incidents happen in the U.S., I would say, based on my analysis, that the majority of those people are homegrown on U.S. soil. I think that has a lot more to do with the United States and its endemic racism and imperialism than it has to do with any of the politics of these people that are coming in.
I wanted to add that in many of those cases, those people are also entrapped by the FBI. And so they're radicalized through FBI informants. Can you comment on that as well?
Just recently, I know the Center for Constitutional Rights is still involved in a lawsuit around folks that actually refused to be informants. And then the FBI said that they would actually put them on a no-fly list if they did not comply. So I think that you bring up a really good point about what extremism really means when it's something that's implemented at the hands of the state. The second thing, I know that you brought up, what Sessions was saying about refugees. And right now they've decided to suspend that program and cap it at 50,000. But I would say that the United States was still woefully behind when it came to refugee admittance under Obama.
Notably absent are U.S. allies like Saudi Arabia, which have been accused of funding the 9/11 attacks, as well as ISIS militants in Syria.
But when we do talk about Saudi Arabia and even Iraq right now being removed from the list, I think it goes to say, what are the United States' geopolitical strategic interests in the region, whether that's fighting against ISIS or whether that's bombing and completely destroying Yemen, a war that barely anyone pays attention to. So I think, this goes hand in hand with U.S. foreign policy. In fact, I would say that this is driven by U.S. foreign policy and not at all something that is about domestic safety or interest.
She's helping organize a protest at Customs and Border Control headquarters in Washington, D.C. Tuesday morning. More protests are expected across the country.
I hope that people show out in the same force that they did with the first one. I know that, the way that him and the entire cabinet roll out these decisions is very well timed with where people's interest levels are at. So I would just ask for all of our allies and non-Muslims to stay focused and realize that this is not at all different. It's just worded in a way that is a little bit more palatable.
From Baltimore, this is Jessel Noor.